Hi everyone, Ado here, social care management team at Cross Care Homeless Services, social care workers board at Carew, and a member of the Consultative Forum for Former Residents of Mother and Baby Homes. This weekend, I thought I'd have a quick chat about management and management styles and kind of leadership in general. And it stems from two things. I've been talking to a couple of social care workers during the week. I was off for a few days, and I was having a chat with a couple of social care workers. Um, and so they were telling me some of the practices or some of the management practices that they were working under. Very kind of authoritarian type management practices. And then while I was off, I was doing a course on Friday, and I was talking to um, some of the other people on the course, and we were the course is in relation to how people, how leaders managed services over the COVID and how they looked after people, etc., etc., etc. And it was really, really, really negative. Um, and leadership within social care services has to be a care-based type leadership. It has to be. Of course, there's all the strategic stuff, and there's all the management and the HR and all of that sort of stuff that us as managers and leaders have to do. But it has to be care-based and heart-based. And one of the areas that's probably worth looking at for any of you guys out there in social care world is servant leadership. And the organisation that I work for is a servant leadership trained organisation. And what servant leadership kind of espouses is that we we example the type of leadership that we want, that the needs and the wants, the desires, the supports of those that we lead are foremost, and that we really look after um, the teams that we work with. And I was reading recently one of the areas that they address in servant leadership training. They talk a lot about a coach, an old American basketball coach. It's a guy called John Wooden, and if you type in his name into Google, you'll be able to read an awful lot of stuff about this guy. The Americans call it that he was the most winningest basketball coach in the history of college basketball in the USA. No one has won more than he did. Um, and if you look at some of the big names in American basketball, um, they all came through his hands. He was their coach at some stage or another, and they all hold him in the highest of esteem. And all of them will tell stories and tales about that. When they get a new intake of players, new college players who'd be drafted, that system in America, they'd be drafted in, and because they're the best in the country, that they think they need to be kind of looked after. And if someone new came in, and let's say one of the examples is that a basketball player who just kept leaving the soap on the floor in the shower, and after every game, John Wooden went in and picked it up and put it where it should be, and he kept doing that until the young basketball player realised that that's what he should be doing. Another very famous basketball player, on his very first training session, um, they had sponsored shoes back then, or trainers, and John Wooden asked them he sat them all down and said, "Look, I'm going to show you how to tie your shoelaces." And this particular basketball player thought it was nuts and didn't allow it. He ended up with blisters on his feet, and he couldn't play for the next 3 or 4 games. That's the type of manager that John Wooden was. He served those that he led, and that's why they ended up being exemplary within their field. And as managers in social care services, we need to care first. We need to make sure that everyone is as well as they can be. And we need to do it daily, daily, and daily. Leave that with you. See you next week.